Welcome to the Pickleball Talks. My name is Mark Cerezin, your host. And what you're watching right now is not just a show. This is a reset, a real reset, a reset of how we think, how we compete, and how we treat each other. A reset of how we live. Because the simple truth is, the point is never more important than the person. When I started playing this game, probably about 5-6 years ago, I was having a really good time in the beginning. Then I'd show up to the court, park my car, put my shoes on, head over to the court, feeling good. Then I started playing. And as the game became sportified, people started playing at 7 o'clock in the morning Wimbledon. Everybody wanted to challenge each other. I saw lying, cheating, people bringing extra sets of paddles. And I was getting into my car not feeling good. Said, what's happening here? And I stopped playing at that particular set of courts. I went to other set of courts, but my enthusiasm dwindled. Then I was in a moment where I was in a bad accident, and then I used pickleball to help rebuild my mind, rebuild my body. And when I showed up at the courts, some people were kind to me and some people weren't. And I looked at the history of the game and I said, wow, this game goes back where the original intention was in 65 on an island. It was not just a date, but as a moment. It was a mindset. You had families, kids, friends standing around. So, father went to his neighbors. They got a paddle, a plastic ball, and a badminton net. And what came from that was family, community, a magical sport that wasn't based on strength. It was based on inclusion. If you didn't know how to play, people would take the time to show you how to hold the paddle, explain the rules. And getting back to 002, when I ask people, they don't know. So they don't know the history of the sport. And that's a big problem. And that's right now why we're seeing what's happening on the courts happening. Too much violence. Too many people are using profanity. That's not what this was about. So I said, stop. Let's figure out a way to reset. I created the reset and the accountability pledge in order, when you step on the court, every time you step to that line, that's a reset. It's how you treat the person next to you. It's how you treat the people who are across the net from you. If there's any question, don't even have any type of debate. Just say reset. It's a great representation for our society and our lives, right? So that's what we're going to do. Back then, they didn't have the perfect setup. They didn't have a business plan for this game that became a sport. They didn't have a vision for global growth. They had a desire to connect. So they improvised and they started playing. And they made the rules up along the way. It was beautiful. And here's what matters most. There was no ego in that moment. There was no status. There was no intimidation. There was no hierarchy. Everyone could play. That's what this sport was based on. The game. Fun, joy. Yeah. No intimidation. I hear stories where people show up. Maybe they were younger. They weren't picked for their kickball team or for the basketball team and gym class. And now they see, oh, pickleball. What an amazing sport. I hear is great things. And they show up to court. I can't tell you how many times I hear people say, oh, I went there and somebody said that they, were an advanced player and they wouldn't play with me. That's what I'm talking about, the history of the sport. Those people need to realize, right? If you're a 5-0, take 5 minutes of your time to explain the rules, to explain how to hold the paddle. Take the time to make a new friend. That person might be lonely. Help them. It helps you become better. That's the real win. That's when you get back to the spirit of the sport, where everyone can play, where everyone can participate, where everyone belongs. That's the DNA of the sport. Inclusion, community, connection. And everything about the game was shaped around that. The rules were adjusted to make it playable. The pace was adjusted to make it accessible. And the environment was built to bring people in, not push people out. That's what this show's about. And I'm going to give you the tools. Within that, we're going to give you the medical, the traditional medical, the alternative medical, spiritual guidance, how to stretch, how to breathe, how to reclaim yourself to be a better part of the group. And we're going to raise the bar of social consciousness collectively through pickleball. And that's what we have to protect. Because if we lose that, we lose the soul of the game and we lose ourselves. Now let's talk community. Because community is not just about people standing next to each other. Community is shared standards, a shared expectation, a shared way of showing up. And whether people realize it or not, every court has a culture, every facility out there, whether it's public or private. The question is it healthy or toxic? Sportsmanship is not outdated. Sportsmanship is leadership. It's how you win. Leave the court feeling better than you came, not just for yourself, but the people who you've been playing with, have them leave with that same feeling that goes back to their office with them and transcends through their environment where they work. And then later on in the day, hopefully that energy is still rippling, coursing through in their veins, and they take it home and everybody wins. It's how you treat people when things don't go your way on the court. It's choosing to replay a ball instead of replaying an argument. It's choosing to lift your partner instead of blaming them. It's choosing to welcome someone new instead of making them earn belonging. That's the win. That's how great communities are built. They're protected. They're modeled. They're reinforced. And every facility, whether it's a public court or a private court, or you got to pay a membership, or you just put your paddle in a rack in a public court, that's what we need to do. And remember that every time you step onto the court, at the service line, address the person next to you and the people across from you. Now let's go deeper, because this is bigger than pickleball. This is life. This is what I call the spice rack of life. Different ingredients, different tools, working together to rebuild a person. Like I previously said, we're going to bring in the most diverse, eclectic, knowledgeable, eccentric people out there that you choose from that spice rack that spins and say, this is what I need today. This is what I need at this moment. And maybe if you don't need it now, it's subconsciously going to integrate and make you aware down the road. That's a win. Because the body is where most people feel the breakdown first. They feel it in their joints. They feel it in their energy, in their movement. And over time, they start to disconnect from themselves. Loneliness is an epidemic in this world. Pickleball gives us the opportunity to bring that back. You don't know who's standing next to you, who's standing across from you, what state they're from, if they're visiting, their culture, their belief system. But in that moment of time, it doesn't matter. You're collectively a group having something in common. Make it fun. Make it joyful. Getting back into physical shape and mental shape is not vanity. It's restoration. It's reclaiming your life. Then there's nutrition. Most people don't realize how much what they eat affects them. Their energy, their focus, their mood, their recovery. We're going to bring in some of the most knowledgeable people with a different perspectives of nutrition, and you choose what works for your body. Everybody's body's different. Food is information, and your body responds to everything you give it. If you give it wrong inputs, you get wrong outputs. Now, medical and alternative approaches, we're going to bring you that as well. If it's not one or the other, it's understanding your options. Don't limit yourself. There is no top of the mountain. Like I tell all my friends, there's only infinity. Never stop learning. Doctors matters, diagnostics matter, but so does recovery. So does movement. So does awareness. And we're going to talk about awareness a lot. Because your body's not one system. It's many systems working together. Now, recovery. This is where most people fall apart. They push. They grind. They ignore the signals. I have so many friends that I have to deal with this. I try to tell them, hey, I see this, but guess what? It's not up to me. I could just try to be a good friend. Everyone's got their own timeline. I try to offer them the ingredients, but sometimes they don't want to take it. That's fine. I'm just looking out of love. But we're going to give you all the tools that you can do it for yourself. That's really important. If you ignore those signals, and eventually the body pushes back, and that's when the system breaks down. Recovery is not optional. Recovery is where growth happens. Unfortunately, we only grow in chaos and pain. It doesn't have to really be that way. Sometimes we all need our Waterloo moment, or we need an epic event to happen for change. But we're going to try here, I'm going to try here to give you all those tools so you don't get there. Sleep. We're going to talk about that, how important it is to you. Stretching. Got to lubricate those joints. You got to get the synovial fluids rocking and rolling in there. Lubricate it up. Hydration. What you put in there. You're in really hot weather playing, you got to stay properly hydrated. Mobility. We're going to teach you how to stretch before you get to the court, when you get to the court, and after you leave the court, so you don't get injured. We'll try to help prevent that. We'll give you all the tools to make that happen. Longevity is about feeling better longer. Let me ask you something. Who were you before life got heavy? Before stress, before pressure, before everything started piling up. That version of you is still there. And this is your opportunity to bring it back. To reset your body, to reset your mind, and to reset your spirit. To reset your community, because no one remembers the score. They only remember who showed up and how they felt. They remember who they became. My pledge to you is to give you everything that I could possibly bring to this show. We're not going to be talking about the paddle of the year. We don't care how many games you won. Sure, we'll have some really accomplished people within the sport of pickleball, but that's not what the story is going to be about. The story will always be about the love of the game and about the person. And that's what we have to remember. That's the most important part. The point's never more important than the person. And that is going to be how we help reset the game that became sportified, help reset ourselves, and help reset society. I really look forward to going through this journey with you and trying to get better at it every single episode. So I hope everybody out there has an amazing day. Please look for us on all your major podcast networks. This is the Pickleball Talks, and my name is Mark Cerezin. Have an amazing day.